Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Riley and this is Paint the Town Red. Hello, friends. Welcome to my February TBR. It is currently January 17th and I am recording this early because I suck at editing. So, future Riley, I'm doing you a favor of getting this done early. So, let's just go ahead. I don't think I've posted anything since my last TBR video. Spoiler, I didn't read any of them. No, that's not true. I did read some of them, but I don't remember what was in it. So, we're gonna pretend that didn't happen. I have read some books. I've read 3 books so far in January, so that's saying something. But I just didn't follow my TBR. We're gonna try again this month. And as always, I always said that my TBR is like a suggestion and not necessarily a priority. I have read all the books I've unwrapped so far. With that being said, I don't have any wrapped books right now. That will start back up next month. I do have the books I'm going to be wrapped picked out. I need to record my goals for the year because some of those books are going to be involved in that video, and then I will wrap them. So next month we will do an unwrapping of a book, and that book will be the priority. This month we won't have a priority. Yay. Because I can't handle having a priority. I don't know what books I need to read next month. I need to read a book for Sid Bookworm's Patreon book club that I haven't read yet. So hopefully that can get on my TBR. And then I think they're finishing their series read along. I didn't do any of it. Maybe I can start it now and finish eventually so I can at least talk to them about it. But I didn't start those. So, unsure about those. But anyways, we're gonna pull 5 prompts. And I will pick books for those 5 prompts. And those will be the books that I will try to read in February. I also need to try and get the Love Hypothesis on my February TBR because I have a book club with the Bookish book club hosted by Life with Shan on YouTube and Bookish Shan on Instagram in February, late February, I think. I just looked it up and it said February 28th, so hopefully that's right. Anyways, let's go ahead and get our nifty prompt jar out and we can start pulling prompts. I'm nervous. Blurb by favorite author. That means I need to look through all of my books and look for a blurb from my favorite author. What if there isn't one? There has to be, or else I wouldn't have had this prompt, right? Who even is my favorite author? I don't know. I'll be back.
Train barely alive, all I could hear was the sound that the breeze made. Watching days pass by out my window. Everybody's getting on and off, and I start to wonder if I missed my stop, if I'm just going where the wind blows.
Okay, after what felt like entirely too much searching, I found a book. It is blurbed by Karen McManus, the author of One of Us is Lying, and I had to kind of settle for an author that I'd read a decent amount from, that I thoroughly enjoyed reading. None of these are necessarily super 5-star reads for me, I don't think, any of her books so far. I went to all of my books and I couldn't find anything blurred by a favorite author. I saw a few blurred by authors I'd read before, but Karen McManus is definitely the one I read from the most, and the one whose books I liked the most. So I went with this one. They said, thrilling, chilling, and utterly riveting, Tiffany D. Jackson crafts high-stakes tension, a deliciously creepy atmosphere, and characters you really, really hope make it to the end. And obviously this book is by Tiffany D. Jackson and it is White Smoke, and I'm super excited to read this one. It's supposed to be really like atmospheric and creepy from what I know. Obviously scary, it's a thriller. I will go ahead and read you the inside of the gift jacket, or at least a little bit of it. You won't be staying here long, I'll make very sure of that. Marigold is running from ghosts. The phantoms of her old life keep haunting her, but a move with her newly blended family from their small California beach town to the embattled Midwestern city of Cedarville might be the fresh start she needs. Her mom has accepted a new job with her Sterling Foundation, which comes with a free house, one that Mari now has to share with her bratty 10-year-old stepsister, Piper. The renovated picture-perfect home on Maple Street, sitting between dilapidated houses, surrounded by wary neighbors, has its secrets. That's only half the problem. Household items vanish, doors open on their own, lights turn off, shadows walk past rooms, voices can be heard in the walls, and there's a foul smell seeping through the vents, which only Mary seems to notice. Worse, Piper keeps talking about a friend who wants Mary gone, but running from ghosts is just a metaphor, right? As the house closes in, Mary learns that the danger isn't limited to Maple Street. Cedarville has its secrets too, and secrets always find their way through the cracks. It sounds really interesting, and I'm excited to see like how Tiffany D. Jackson like weaves the story and what direction they go in. And yeah, White Smoke is officially on my TBR, and I'm excited because I've been craving like a thriller-esque book. So this will be perfect. Okay. So that is Blurb by Fake Author, sorta. Next, we have The Jar. All the letters of my first name. Okay, maybe I know what will work. Hang on. I did it. I did it so easy. The next book on my TBR, I think, is the buddy read for Sid Bookworm's book club Patreon. Each month we pick a book club book and a buddy read. I'm not reading the book club book, but I am going to read the buddy read because it seems more interesting to me. And that is The Very Secret Society of Regular Witches. I've heard mixed reviews about this. I think I've heard like one person who didn't like it. So I guess it's not super mixed. It's a standout person who didn't like it. And the rest I think have enjoyed it from what I know. I'm super excited about this one. It seems so cute and cozy. I don't really know what it's about, but the cover makes me think cute and cozy. But obviously like witchy. I'll go ahead and read the back for those of you who don't know what it's about. A warm and uplifting novel about an isolated witch whose opportunity to embrace a quirky new family and a new love changes the course of her life. As one of the few witches in Britain, Mika Moon knows she has to hide her magic, keep her head down, and stay away from other witches so their powers don't mingle and draw attention. And as an orphan who lost her parents at a young age, she was raised by strangers. She's used to being alone, and she follows the rules, with one exception, an online account where she posts videos pretending to be a witch. She thinks no one will take it seriously, but someone does. An unexpected message arrives, begging her to travel to the remote and mysterious Nowhere House to teach 3 young witches how to control their magic. It breaks all of the rules, but Mika goes anyways and is immediately tangled up in the lives and secrets of not only her 3 charges, but also an absent archaeologist, a retired actor, 2 long-suffering caretakers, and Jamie. The handsome and prickly librarian of Nowhere House would do anything to protect the children, and as far as he's concerned, a stranger like Mika is a threat, an irritatingly appealing threat. As Mika begins to find her place at Nowhere House, the thought of belonging somewhere feels like a real possibility. But magic isn't the only danger in the world, and when peril comes knocking at the door, Mika will need to decide whether to risk everything to protect a found family she didn't know she was looking for. So I was right. It is kind of like a cozy, witchy book with like some stakes. Hi. Hello. It is now morning. if you can't tell by the different lighting. So what happened is my boyfriend Michael started the shower last night, and the shower like backs up to my office wall, and it's really loud, so it's really loud in my videos if I record while he's showering. So I just kind of gave up because it was late. It was like midnight when I was recording, and I was like, I'll just do it in the morning. So here I am. I'm back. The last thing we did was add the Very Secret Society of Regular Witches to my TBR for all the letters of my first name. So let's just go ahead and pull another prompt because I think that I read the synopsis to you guys already. Yeah. Jar back out. Book rated 4 stars on Goodreads. So it has to be at least 4 stars on Goodreads. I think, what books did I have to read this month? Oh, The Love Hypothesis will probably be rated 4 stars, but I don't know if that's the one I want to pick. I don't think I needed to read anything else this month. Other than, I have this one on here. I wanted to read a couple of things. Yeah, The Love Hypothesis is 4.2, but let me try a couple other things. I looked up 9 Liars by Maureen Johnson because I'm trying to finish this series, the Truly Devious series, but it's 3.99 stars, and I don't want to cheat, so I'm not going to. Okay, if you don't know what this is by now, I don't know what to tell you. It's like a science-y romance. I'm not going to read the synopsis because it's a really popular book. It has like a 4.2 something on Goodreads, so it does fit the books rated 4 stars prompt. And I want to give a shout out to Maria. She is booking it, Maria and 94, I think. I'll link her down below on Instagram. She gifted me this book for a secret Santa that we did for Christmas this year, and I really appreciate it because I'm super excited to read this, and obviously it's a book club pick, which helps out even more, so I didn't have to buy it. But yeah, so I haven't read a true romance in a really long time because the last romance I read put me into a reading slump, so I'm excited to see what I think of this one, you know? I kind of have 2 romance-esque books on this, but luckily the Very Secret History of Regular Witches sounds like it'll have some like magical realism aspects too, and not just like a forward romance, whereas this one is definitely like a science-y romance. I'm very nervous to see what I think about this because I know it's really hyped and I think I'm gonna be the person that hates it. So it's on my TBR. We'll see how that goes. Who knows? Okay. Next. I'm eating a Pop-Tart. It's early. Doesn't seem early because it's so freaking bright. That's a window, which screws up my lighting every time, but it's fine. Pop-Tarts? I know they're not really good for you, but they're just such an easy breakfast. I work from home now though, so like I could make good breakfast, but I'm lazy, so I don't. Next prompt. Name in the title. A book that has someone's name in the title. Oh. Do I even like... I have a spreadsheet that I'm gonna scroll through because I can't think of anything off the top of my head. My spreadsheet doesn't have all of my books on it yet, but it has like a very close to it. Oh. Is Daisy a name in Daisy Darker? Do I have to read Daisy Darker this month? I could read Anna K Away, which is the sequel to Anna K. Oh, Get a Life, Chloe Brown. The Invisible Life, Addie LaRue. I have some options. None that I'm necessarily like in love with. Is Bunny a name? It's a nickname. Am I allowed to like stretch the truth though and put Bunny on my TBR? I don't think so. It's not necessarily a name. It's more of a nickname. The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. I guess I could put that because that's a book club book later in the year, I think. So I mean, if I just read it now, then it's out of the way. I also am supposed to be reading The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, but I started it and I wasn't feeling it, so I put it down because all of my friends love it, and I feel like I'm supposed to love it, but I'm just not. I just wasn't vibing with it at the time. Like, it just wasn't what I needed to be reading. Because after that, I picked up ACOTAR and I flew through ACOTAR. So, like, well, not flew through, but I was, like, obsessed. So I think that I just wasn't meant to be reading a historical fiction at the time. Okay, we'll come back to the Evelyn Hardcastle. Oh. I could put a nonfiction on here. Honestly, that seems like the best idea out of all of these. We're doing it. I'm putting a nonfiction on here. So, for those of you who don't know, I was a competitive runner. I ran in high school. I went to college for running on like a running scholarship. I didn't go to college for running, but I ran in college. You know what I mean. And like mental health is like a really big thing in the running industry and like in sports in general. Someone at an Ivy League school, I'm pretty sure it was jumped off of a parking garage roof, committed suicide, and it like sent a wave through especially the running community, but I think sports in general, about how important mental health is and how many people are actually struggling. So I'm going to be reading What Made Maddie Run by Kate Fagan. I think that it's going to be a really impactful read, and especially just because I didn't go to an Ivy League. I don't know the pressures of an Ivy League school, but I do know the pressures of sports and how it feels to feel like you don't fit in somewhere. And I think this book will provide a lot of insights into her family, her friends, her school life, things that happened leading up to her decision. I have lost a few friends in the running community, and who I was one of which I was really good friends with, to suicides. I think that it'll probably make me cry, but I'm prepared. I'm mentally prepared right now. I think that I'm in a good space mentally to be reading this in February, so I think that it'll be a really good, impactful read and kind of analyze the impact of being a high-performing academic student as well as athlete. And yeah, so What Made Maddie Run is officially on my TBR. We have one more left. As I mentioned, I'm not doing a priority read this month. I'm going to make the nonfiction my priority, actually. We're gonna do that. Because this book was wrapped at one point. So we'll just pretend I unwrapped all my books. It was the end of the year, I unwrapped all my books. I forgot what I wrapped. I'm gonna wrap all new books, as I mentioned. I just need to record that video. But yeah, we're gonna do our last prompt. Crazy. I still need to get a book on here that I want to read, but if it doesn't make it on, it's fine. We'll just wing it. I haven't read 5 books in a month in a really long time, so take this TBR lightly, and if I don't do it, I don't do it. It's fine. My goal is to read at least 3 of them. 3 that are on this TBR. Priority, What Made Maddie Run. Okay, last prompt. It's the bottom. We pulled a lot of yellow today. We pulled 3 yellow today. That's a lot of yellow. Anyways. You missed the right time to read it. So that means like a Christmassy book that I didn't read during Christmas, or a spooky book that I wanted to read in October that I didn't get to, or like a book that revolves around a certain like thing, part of the year. I know what I'm gonna put on. I'm twisting the prompt a little bit. I don't think it's necessarily twisting it, but I'm not using a time of year. I'm using an event. So I was supposed to read this for a Sid book club. I didn't. I got it for Christmas, didn't read it. So I missed the book club I missed the event, I missed the time I was supposed to read it, but I'm gonna read it anyway, because one, it's short, it's like 250 pages. I love that. And that is Piranesi by Susanna Clark. I think that's how you say it. I don't know much about this book. I know it's supposed to be weird, different, I don't know. It's fantasy from what I know. I will read you the inside because I'd never heard of this book before Sid Bookworm. So Piranesi's house is no ordinary building. Its rooms are infinite, its corridors endless, its walls are lined with thousands upon thousands of statues, each one different from all the others. Within the labyrinth, I think I say that word wrong. I'm gonna move on. Of halls, an ocean is imprisoned. Waves thunder up staircases, rooms are flooded in an instant, but Piranesi is not afraid. He understands the tides, and he understands the pattern of the labyrinth. Again, moving on. Itself. He lives to explore the house. There is one other person in the house, a man called the Other, who visits Piranesi twice a week and asks for help with research into a great and secret knowledge. But as Piranesi explores, evidence emerges of another person, and a terrible truth begins to unravel, revealing a world beyond the one Piranesi has always known. It sounds intriguing. Like, I'm curious to see, like, who this other person is. Also, look how cute these end pages are. I love them so much. So, yeah, we're gonna add this. It's short, and hopefully I have like 2 shorter books on this TBR. Like, none of these seem like they're gonna take me forever to read. The longest one that will probably take me is White Smoke, because it seems to be the longest, or The Love Hypothesis, because I'm not a romance reader very often. But like What Made Maddie Run is like 300 pages, so I think it should be a good month in February. I'm glad I have a romance on it just because it is February, but I'm just not a romance person. I have 2 relative romances on here. So yeah, that is my TBR. Let me move the stack over here so I can show you. Oh god. Too blue. Wow. Those look weird together. But anyways, this is the stack. I like it. It doesn't look that hard. So again, we have White Smoke has a blurb by my favorite author on it. All of the letters in my first name. This is 4 stars on Goodreads. This is a name in the title, and this is Miss the Time to Read It. So yeah, these are the books that I'll be reading. I'll quickly go over a couple of other books that I want to get to in February. I'd like to read Defend the Dawn. I just finished Defy the Night and I really liked it. I gave it 4.5 stars, spoiler. Really enjoyed it, and I want to read Defend the Dawn like now. So hopefully I can get to that in February. And then I also want to try and read 9 Lives by Maureen Johnson so that I can finish out the Truly Devious trilogy. So originally the Truly Devious thing was called a trilogy, but then she wrote 2 more books. Unsure, not quite positive, I don't know. But yeah, so hopefully if I can read that, then I can finish that and mark it off my series, because another spoiler, my goal is to 1, read more of my own TBR, and 2, cut down the amount of series I'm in the middle of. More to come in my goals video, so stay tuned. As always, I really appreciate you all being here. If you liked this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up and press the subscribe button. You can also press the bell to get notified when my next videos will go up. So if you want to see my goals video, you can hit the bell and it'll tell you when it posts. But yeah, I'm super excited for February. I'm glad to be back here on BookTube. Hopefully I can be more consistent. Spoiler, goals. And yeah, thank you guys all so much for hanging out, and I will see you in the next video.